This is Tillery Timmons-Sims here again with another episode of Conservation Stories. Conservation Stories is a podcast brought to you by the Sand Hill Area Research Association. And I'm excited today because speaking of sand hills and sand, we've got some guests here that know all about this. They are from west of Lubbock, and they're farming over there almost close to New Mexico. How close are you guys to New Mexico?
Really close. We actually farm some in New Mexico.
Okay, not surprised.
Yep.
Not surprised. So Pug Lyon is here with us. Pug is on the Soil and Water Conservation District Board in, is it Morton, Cochran County?
Yes, I serve on the local board there, and I also serve for Area 1 for the Association
Great.
of Water Conservation Districts in the state of Texas. I'm an Area 1 board member.
Okay, that's great. We've done a few podcasts on the Soil and Water Conservation Board and its history, and we have some great educational stuff on the website if people want to learn about the history of where that started and how important those boards are to the work that farmers are doing. And especially, you want to have an NRCS office, you got to have a Soil and Water Conservation Board. So they're really vital to the conservation work that happens. So I'm excited that you brought your boys here, and we have to make sure that we get the oldest. Cade is the oldest, and then Lane is the baby. By 14 minutes, I hear. So I'm so excited that you are here. It's unusual to see two generations work together in a change, making a change. And so I applaud you for being flexible, and seeing what's ahead of us, and looking ahead, and a lot of times I think also farmers want to maybe pass it on to the next generation or include them, but also times it's hard to figure out how to make it work financially. So sometimes it's not a choice, but you guys are really blessed to, have the situation that you have. So can you give me a little bit of history about your family, where you guys are from, how long have you been there, and how long have you been farming?
I grew up in Morton all my life. I was born and raised there. We actually live 4 miles down the road from where I was raised and went to school, or my home, where I was. Parents raised me and brought me to school there in Morton. I've been around the farm. I was raised on the farm all my life. My dad had trouble there at the end and went out of business, but he went to work for a farmer there. So then in the summers, I started working for the same farmer, and he helped me get my start. That's who helped me get my start. So I started farming when I first started farming in 96 with 600 acres. And we farm 8,000 acres now today is what we farm. So we've grown it, and I'm glad to see the boys. They've taken a lot of interest here these last few years and taken more ownership in the farm. And it's neat to see that, like you said, with the generational deal.
Yeah. So that's really interesting that your neighbor, I've seen that a few times where, the neighbor will come in. It's maybe not family, but like they're taking that interest, and because it really matters that you have somebody to help you get off to a start.
Absolutely. I couldn't have started without his help. He helped me, and that's what got me my start. Because a lot of people say, well, did it get passed on? No, it was a friend that helped me get started. And, it's good to have people that do that.
So you guys are out of high school, or are you still in high school?
We just graduated.
Okay. You just graduated. Okay. So now you get to go full time.
Yeah.
So tell me, are y'all going to stay around and farm?
Yeah.
Or are you going to go to school or anything?
Yeah, we're going to school in South Plains.
Good choice. That's a great idea. I have a couple of kids, both that started out at South Plains and wound up at Tech, but man, it's a great pathway to Tech too. And South Plains does a lot for our area, really providing some good education and accessible. It's much more accessible. So you're gonna have to just make way for this school schedule.
Oh yeah, we can work around that. So and then there's just 30 minutes away, so their schedules will allow them to. And the last few summers, every summer they've been working. They help take care of primarily the spraying, but as they figured out, there's a lot of other duties, but they've kind of taken over the spraying, which is a great deal because that's a big deal in today's farming with the no-till farming. Spraying is one of the most important things you do, and it's very timely and critical, and they've taken that ownership, and it's neat to see that they understand how important what they do is. So
well, I am the reason I contacted you yesterday was because I saw these two guys on a video, and I saw this thing that said Regenerative Texas. This is new. I thought I knew all of them, and it is new.
It is new. This us as the association board, Association of Texas Soil and Water Conservation Districts, we kicked it off in October of 2024. Regenerative Texas, go look it up. We got a lot of new stuff coming, some new videos that are coming out, and we're showcasing regenerative farming and ranching across the state of Texas. And the video, go look it up, and we got videos coming, and these two boys have seen the difference of regular farming and no-till regenerative farming, and they can tell you some about the differences.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what you guys have seen as far as, everybody says it's different, but what does that mean?
Oh, there's a big difference.
So is it in the amount of work? Does it take more work or less work?
Less work. I'd say less work.
Yeah, in the long
if
run.
you do it right, or for you, it may take a while for you to get there, but.
Okay, so let's role play for just a minute. So you, Lane, you have a conventional farm.
Okay.
Okay, and you've just been farming that way. You're like watching over here with someone that's your neighbor, Cade, and he is implementing this regenerative, and everybody says the word, but nobody really quite knows exactly what that means. What are you doing that he's not doing, or what are you not doing that he's doing? What is it? What are you doing different?
Probably the main thing is he's probably going to be running his sound fighter 24/7, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call him and tell him that he's blowing on me.
So why are you having to run your stand fighter?
You don't got no cover.
Okay.
And so when it rains, it'll be blowing, and we've seen a lot of that.
Oh my goodness.
Out by where we are.
Oh my goodness. My first experience like as a child that I can remember as being aware of my environment around me was, I remember shutting the west facing door to our little farmhouse at night. And then when I went to go outside and open it, I couldn't see over the sand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it's about how it looks like.
And I'll tell you, like us, it's hard with the amount of acres we farm, but, like the first year we, planted all cover crops, but, the wind and stuff, we couldn't get them all, they didn't all hold. So we have some conventional farming, but we want to be all no-till, but we're working in that direction. But just like on Father's Day, so everybody asks, what'd y'all do for Father's Day? Well, we were on sand fighters, and the boys actually were saying, hey, they're blowing over here. And I was like, well, they took off on that Sunday on Father's Day, but you can't do that.
Right.
But if you got no-till, we wouldn't have been sand fighting. No. We would have had the day off.
Yeah. Until I would say recently, most people, you could not live without it. Right. Yeah. Because even if that sand it's just like electricity run across those plants. It just fries them. Yes. Okay, so it's Father's Day, and Lane is out on the sand fighter, and you're out fuel and possibly labor, tractor time, right? You're away from your family. But Cade is home. He's done this regenerative thing, so which means that you've got a cover crop. Now, have you got a single species cover crop? You've got one, like just wheat out there?
Yeah, you can have just wheat.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay, so you got your wheat out there, and did you water that wheat to get it up? What are you doing?
Yeah, you water it like you're gonna harvest it all the way until right before you plant, you kill it.
My husband's uncle was doing this in the 80s. We used to call it farming in trash.
Yep.
Farming in trash. So
I've heard it called ugly farming in the past.
Yes. Oh my
Ugly
goodness.
farming.
Yes. I can remember my favorite story about my grandmother is when my brother was y'all's age, he got about 18, he got his first farm. And it was my grandmother's best friend and neighbor. It was their farm, little like 30-acre farm, 60 acres maybe. And my brother went out there to check his water, and my grandmother's out there hoeing. I mean, like, she was not about to let there be anything out there but cotton,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, ugly farming. Yeah, it takes a lot to get used to that. So, for you guys, then, when you think about regenerative farming, to you, it's a no-till and a cover crop. It's kind of those two are the key things for you two. Okay, so the common thing that I hear is that people don't have enough water for 2 crops, which, I mean, like I'm from Terry County. Like, you know what I mean? We're talking about a section of land that has 21 wells and doesn't have 200 gallons a minute.
Yes.
You know? So talk us through that.
A big deal, like for us, is our water situation where we're at. So like we farm half irrigated. A lot of that's semi-irrigated because of the water.
Right.
And a lot of it's dryland. Well, you have to get these landlords on board with you that you go plant milo maybe instead of cotton. And if you get that milo crop, you have that stubble and you start work. It's not a 1 year. It's a process. You either get milo or you go plant that dryland. And if you get enough moisture to get it up, you might not have a cotton crop for 3 years, but when that cotton crop does come into that trash, it's going to make up for those 2 years prior. That it's a process. You can't just on dry land. You don't know if you're going to get enough rain to get your cover up.
Exactly, yeah, and you might get so little of a stand that maybe Lane here, the conventional farmer's blowing, and he may blow your cover out.
Yep.
That can happen too, huh? Yeah. So it's and people talk about it being, multiple years process of really being able to make the transition. So what is it? Do you have to buy new equipment? Or are you just using your traditional equipment?
Yeah, you use it's really like if you ever get into that process, wheat drill, a planter, and a sprayer. You pretty well got it covered, unless you want to strip till something. I mean,
explain that to us. What's the difference between no-till and strip till?
No-till is just totally just planting into the trash. Strip till, you run a rig that moves just that little small area where you're actually putting the seed. It just clears that area for for the seed bed.
So when I was in Poland, I was there last year, and there's a company there that's created a strip till that is modular. So everything that you need throughout the year for strip tilling, you just unhook this piece and put this piece on. It's like building with Legos, almost. You know what I mean? But that's the thing that it has 5 sensors on it, so it's sensing the moisture at what depth it is, and then it is just phenomenal. And so it's putting your seed exactly where the moisture is. So it may be at one depth here and then another depth here, or it might be moving to the right or to the left.
Yep.
And I know John Deere's do some of this, but this was pretty progressive stuff. So there's a lot of that kind of trial and error going on there.
And we're also trying to implement another thing. What you're saying is working is maybe planting wheat for harvest. And you harvest that wheat, you leave that stubble, and you keep that stubble clean, and then plant into it the next year. So that's that transition period to where you're not going to have a cotton crop. The old timers say, they want cotton, but they've also not only the rotation of your farm, but you got to transition into this regenerative where you maybe harvest the wheat. You don't plant another crop behind that wheat. You just leave that stubble, and it's just better for the land. It's better overall.
So the economics of that, of course, people aren't making a lot of money on cotton anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, so of course this is like regenerative, but a lot of times you hear the word sustainable. That word actually came from an economist, and it meant that it was sustainable in every way. So economically, so the man who came up with that, it would say if it's not economically sustainable, it's not sustainable. So it might be good for the environment, but if it's not going to keep you farming, you can't do it. You can't call it sustainable, which I think is interesting because the word has been kind of hijacked, right, to mean something different, or who the hell knows what it means,
right.
Today's episode is brought to you by Evan Stone with Clear Rock Farm and Ranch, part of the Clear Rock Realty Group in Lubbock, Texas. Evan understands West Texas land, agriculture, and what it takes to buy and sell farms and ranches in our unique region. If you're ready to make your next move, trust someone who knows the lay of the land. Visit Evan at clearrockrealty.com, serving Lubbock and the surrounding communities. Clear Rock Farms and Ranch, your partner on the plains.
What I say, conventional versus no-till, what I see is, growing up, like at their age, you see, okay, we planted a lot more population than we plant now because, everybody's trying to cut corners. Well, you're going to probably go plant more seed per acre on the conventional because you're probably going to know you're going to lose some to sand or other issues. Where on this no-till situation, if you got your no-till set up correctly, you've got that cover where you can put less seed and it's protected from all the environment. So you can cut your seed cost, and that's a big cost in the operate.
Cost.
I mean, so it's stuff like that. You have to look at both sides.
Right.
But
so so for people that are listening or watching, so what is your cost per acre for seed?
Roughly $50 an acre for seed cost on cotton, give or take, in today's world with how high it is. And that's a big cost of your, and it's all right off the bat,
Yeah, it's right there before you ever get.
Yeah.
You're investing a big chunk right up front,
Right.
But you're putting it in. I mean, almost like you can think of that trash, the
Yes.
ugly stuff, as almost like insurance.
Yes.
Of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys are planting less per acre, so you have less input cost right up off the bat. You've got less fuel cost, less time on the tractor, but more time on the sprayer.
Yeah.
So what you're going in there, because you're not going in there and plowing weeds. So you're controlling your weed population with spraying, but it is weed pressure pretty bad when you're doing no-till. I mean, can you see a difference in weed pressure when there's stuff covering the ground?
I would say no.
Yeah, no, or not really as much. I would say.
I say when you get into this program 2 or 3 years deep, I've seen no-till, where the weed pressure is not as heavy as conventional because I think it chokes it out or it does something. It does something in the soil to keep so many weeds. I mean, we're always going to have weed pressure, but I don't think it will be as much when you get down the road and get it really implemented strong.
So how many years are you guys down this road? When did you start?
Oh, I guess when we were born in the barn, really. I mean, we've been out there since ever.
So you've seen your dad transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what year did you transition?
I mean, I've had some no-till in the past, but I mean, we've really transitioned just this past year to everything.
What made you do it?
Just watching, looking and learning, trying to say, what can we do to try to know that we could sustain the farm and go down the road, and also sitting on this association board, I was looking at some of these other ranches, and then you go implement that regenerative into the it's not just the ranches, you can implement that on the farm, but how can we, go forward? And another thing is farming the amount of acres we have to try to farm to make a living. We could not conventional farm 8,000 acres and do it good. And that's why I think another thing is getting transitioned into this no-till. We have to farm that many acres, unfortunately, with to try to make it work.
Right.
But we couldn't do it if it was all conventional. We couldn't do it right, is what I would say. So,
right. And for people to understand like that, that farming is such a capital intensive project with low margins.
Yes.
And that's why it confuses, I think, consumers, because they would think of that many acres as a big, like corporate farming, right? But it's really, it's a family farm. And now you may have a corporation name because you're a businessman, so why would you not take advantage of corporate, tax benefits and protections? So I think it's another good thing for people to know why you have to be so big here, because our land is not as productive per acre. And the kind of crops that we are growing per acre they're just not as valuable. And unfortunately, cotton continues to, prices keep falling and falling.
Right. Yep.
So is this something that y'all have like seen or heard about? Or did your dad come home and go, hey, we're going to do this thing?
I think it was just more like being out there and around it. Like you're saying, I'm not running a plow on this one or on this field and all this. You're just spraying it And it looks different too. You can just walk out there and see like, oh, this one's no-till and that one's still like it's pretty.
So have y'all been getting any rain?
Oh yeah,
So glad.
Thank God it's been
I'm
3 days
so-
straight.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I didn't look at the radar this morning, but it looked to me like it was probably pretty general rain. Sure
yeah.
do need it.
Y'all may tell Tillery about, like, we got a good friend there, and he don't farm many acres, but he farms. He's been doing this. You know, one of the very first one, he rotates. He does wheat, cuts it, leaves that quarter out, plants peas or milo, and he rotates all this around. And his crops are always better than everybody around him.
Always.
And they've seen that. And it's, he don't farm on a big scale, but he does it himself. And it's neat to see because he's been doing this regenerative that we're, really everybody.
Now we got a name for what he's been doing.
But he don't want to talk about that. He says it's doing what you should be doing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
his.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
And he's got into this 3 or 4 years down the road. You can see the difference. I mean, and it takes a while to get into that. Once you get there,
So
you're
did
good.
you have any issues with your bank? Did your bank say, no, you might lose money, so I don't think we can do this?
No, I don't know of any guys that have had that trouble, but mine, I mean, I've never had the bank say, you can do no-till or you can. I've never had that part of it. No,
Yeah.
no.
You have 8,000 acres, and how far? I mean, you've got some that hasn't come up. What percentage of your land do you think is got a good stand on it? And this you have seed in now, like where this rain might help?
We had we lost some crops at Whiteface in that hailstorm a couple
that was
weekends
bad.
ago. So we went back and we planted some peanuts and some milo. And this rain it'll be
gosh,
coming
it'll
up
be nice.
as we're going right now. But we're very fortunate because we have got more rain than normal. But most of our crops are up and growing, dryland and all. It really looks really good for our area right now. It just won't quit us like last year. Last year we looked pretty good, and it just quit us in August.
It did, yeah.
The heat, but
Yeah, you
we're
just
very
never know.
fortunate right now. Our crops, when you're farming that many acres, it can't all be perfect like we want it to be. But for the most part, we have a very good start.
Yeah. Out here on the Texas plains, water is everything, and there's a resource that's as vital as it is fragile: our Playa Lakes. These lakes are nature's reservoir, catching rainwater to recharge our aquifer and provide lifelines for wildlife. But now they need our help. In collaboration with the Texas Playa Lakes Conservation Initiative and the Cargill Global Water Challenge, Sarah has started the Our Legacy is Tomorrow's Water initiative to inspire and work with landowners to restore and protect our playa lakes. Each playa we save helps secure a sustainable water future for the generations that will be coming after us. Whether it's improving soil health, restoring habitats, or recharging groundwater, we are committed to making a difference. Together, we can build a legacy that we can all be proud of. To learn how you can join in, visit the Playa Lakes Restoration Initiative page on the Sarah website. Let's keep Texas water flowing strong for the future. Visit sarah-conservation.com. You guys have, I'm sure, friends that are like on the farm, like you guys are, staying around. They're going to hang out. They're going to maybe take over. Y'all ever talk about this with your friends when you're, cruising the Sonic or something?
No.
Not that there's a Sonic in Morton. When you're cruising the Allsups.
We don't have just a whole lot of friends that are like in the farm scene and all that, but there's a couple that have worked on a farm and they kind of they're smart enough to understand that. I think if they had a choice, they would probably do no-till too.
Yeah.
Just going around and looking, being out there.
So, Pug, what do you think keeps people from embracing the idea?
Change. It's hard to get that mentality of like that when I was a kid. That's just, you plow. That's just what you did. It's the change. It's the scared. And then a lot of people, the water, like you brought up, it does take water to get that cover crop growing. But I think once you get it up and growing and killed, then it holds the water better. So it's the give and take. Some people are willing to take that plunge. Some aren't.
So, I don't know if you've seen, but one of the first videos we did was with Jeremy Brown. And he didn't kill his, right? He
Yep.
just keeps his green. And I don't remember the first time I saw that, but I was like, that is like cotton in the middle of really tall,
Yep.
multi-species cover crop that's green.
Yep.
So interesting. So will you experiment some, do you think, with those kind of things, and like a little bit here and a little bit there? And
We've done some different stuff and seen some different stuff with, we've implemented, starting to implement, we were going to go more into implementing radishes this next year, tillage radishes, which, it helps with the compaction, nutrients, all kind of stuff. We're going to move into that direction. And we're always willing to, you go out and you learn. Like our good friends down the road, Roy and Mike Thompson at Littlefield. I mean, Mike he's the one to go. He's the leader in our area of regenerative. And I got to go to his farm last week, and it's amazing what he's doing out here. It's amazing.
I'd love to see that. That's really amazing.
I mean, and you look to people like that, you go look and you go learn. And like he said, when he's driving to work every day, he listens to podcasts on no-till farming. He said, learn something every day. And man, I think Mike is one that he's a leader in our area that a lot of people, he has really taken it up, and it's neat to see and someone to learn from.
I know it's hard, I think, sometimes for people to believe. Lacey's family's been there several years in, and they've done, since 2017, USDA was tracking the changes in their soil because they begin to integrate cattle also. And so that they don't have to use a lot of fertilizer now. And, they were harvesting. I remember when I was in Poland, got a call, or she was texting me saying, we are harvesting almost 4 bales and with no fertilizer on this, and I mean, they can show like the moisture that's holding more moisture. It's like everything else. I feel like sometimes when you're trying to talk to somebody about changing and doing something different, everybody just remembers what's negative. You know what I mean? It's well, my neighbor tried that one year and it didn't work, right? And so feels like we're kind of stuck in the same thing this whole world is stuck in, which is either one way or the other. You can't ever do anything in the middle. You can't ever say, I might not implement that, but I can implement all these, some of these other things. Everybody has got this black and white mentality. And I like that what you're doing is, it's one step at a time. You've really made, 2 steps, I guess, towards this process that people might say is a 5-step thing. Right. Depends on, who you listen to, right? That region is this, that, or the other. Or some people say it's organic and some people say it's not organic, And so you guys, we were visiting a while ago about looking at different types of audits that you can get to participate in different types of programs. So is that something you guys think y'all might be interested in pursuing eventually? Talking to different people about what those programs are, like the Kiss the Ground program in California that you mentioned, or J. Crew has a program, and there's several out there.
Yes, I'm always looking and trying to research those, and I hope the boys are doing the same.
Let me tell you something. There are people looking for y'all. And I don't know if you know this or not, but like the people that are selling the blue jeans or the mills that are buying the cotton, they badly want to meet the farmer. They badly want to meet the farmer, and they want to reconnect. The supply chain is so now segregated, and they want to go back to, who are we buying from? And when you build those kind of relationships, you can have the assurance that they're getting what they want,
And I hope this generation will pick it up and do a better job than I've seen done. Is we need to tell our story. We're bad about telling our story. Farmers want to go whatever they do, whether it's no-till, whatever successful, whatever. They don't want to tell. We got to get back to where you tell your story.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it is sometimes people are like, don't tell anybody I'm growing this because like we can flood the market in a single season kind of thing. But this isn't that kind of thing, And I don't know, how much you guys have listened to the podcast, but there's a young man from Plainview that we've interviewed a couple of times, and Layton, he's opened a grocery store in Plainview. Wow. And I think they've got like 20 acres or something. Go back and listen to this podcast because he's like, I couldn't grow enough strawberries. Like, there is such a huge demand for strawberries, and so there's things like that we've just we haven't embraced because we've embraced this big instead of this, smaller, and I saw it happen in Terry County as we converted, to grapes. And so that single county grows like probably 85-90% of all the grapes in the state of Texas. And so my brother in particular started because he's like, man, I don't have the water for a cotton crop anymore, but I could put in, something that's higher value, and so, but there again, you just have to have that idea of like, what's the market like? Where am I going to sell it? And those kind of things. But I think you guys are right at that age of, you probably still have the energy to pursue those kind of things and those kind of ideas. But I would listen to that. He's really great, and he's super great about like, hey, you want to see how much profit I make? Here you go. You want to know how I'm doing it? Here you go. Because he says there is room for a lot more. The demand is high, and COVID really showed us, right, that we're subject to supply chain issues really badly.
Yep.
Really badly. But I applaud you guys. I would really like to hear from you, Pug, some about what is your ideas for regenerative Texas? So it was started by the association.
The association started it in October 24, and we're just, really wanting what we're talking about a while ago about, get people to tell their story on your ranches, on your farms, and the transitions, like what we're trying to transition into, and the benefits. And we just thought, what, this is where we think everybody's headed, or it's really taking a hold, and the association's really pushing that. And at the state meeting, we're gonna roll out a big video from all around the state,
Great.
People's stories of ranches, because it's so much different around the state of Texas. But we got a big video coming in September.
So let's talk for just a minute about the districts. And so if people go back and listen to some of the videos about the history and how there's a setup and established and stuff, Lubbock has a soil and water conservation board. And we have most of our land in Lubbock County is considered urban. I think just some on the north. The north is not urban, but people here can participate in ways by buying trees.
Yes.
So every year these districts sell trees in the spring. And these are natives that they sell at a great price. And, and it's a way for people to support, because you guys, each one of these boards, each one of your districts they're on their own to raise their raise funds. Now there's some funds they can get through the National Association.
Right.
But pursuing that, it's often, right, you don't, it's all volunteer. And if you can get enough money to get somebody paid to do the day-to-day stuff, it's fabulous. But sometimes it's hard to raise those funds. So I really what would you say are other ways that people can become aware of what the district does?
If you get interested, go to the meetings. They're open meetings. Go visit with those board members and ask them what is y'all's district doing. We do a lot of help in our schools, trying to reach out to the kids and educate kids, because we just feel like agriculture it's not like it was when I was a kid. Everybody was into agriculture when I was a kid at, school age. In today's world, those kids are not educated on agriculture like we were back then. And I think we've got away from that. And I think it's very important we move back in that direction.
And I know I've seen the National Association create some amazing curriculum. And every year they have like some type of field day or something. It's an emphasis, like this year it was like habitats, and you can get from them all of the things to do, the crafts and things to do with the school kids and that kind of stuff. There's a lot that's available. And I think, to your point, going to these meetings. So I know I'll put the link in the show notes, maybe for Lubbock and for Cochran County, like when they meet.
Yes.
Because I know Lubbock meets, it's early in the morning, like 7:30 on a Wednesday, and it's every month. And people that have houses that they've built on 10 acres, this is a great, opportunity for them to say, okay, what can I do conservation wise? How can I conserve water? Maybe not, I don't want to put 10 acres of Bermuda grass in.
Right.
but I also don't want a whole bunch of stickers, so this is the place to go to get that kind of information.
And that's also the place to go to buy, like you said earlier, your windbreak trees for your house. And it's a good place to learn about all kind of conservation if you're looking at that, or just go learn about what other people are doing. It's good to.
Yep. And then we'll have a regional meeting in the Lubbock area, maybe in September-ish?
The state meeting's in September.
Okay.
Next year, we're going to be hopefully going to be coming out, and we'll go on a ranch tour and farm tour.
Great.
And the dates aren't set up on that yet,
Yep.
but I'm looking. We're coming to Area 1. You got to move around to every area in the state. Next year, one of the meetings will be coming out here, and
that's great.
it'll
That's
be
great.
good.
Well, and that's something that we've talked about too. Like, we think it'd be really advantageous to have a farm tour for people that live in Lubbock.
Oh yes,
Because we could take folks out and they can see a vineyard, they can see a winery, but they can also see peanut harvesting, cotton harvesting, and cotton ginning, and there's some amazing things that affects everybody's everyday here.
yes, ma'am.
Well, guys, I wish you hadn't talked so much during this time, but some people, they just hog the conversation. Thanks. Good luck to you guys. And how about we get back at the end of the year and see what your harvest was like? And I'd love to hear like how things are going with landlords and how they're feeling about stuff. We got friends that they had bale and a half on dry land cotton last year, and got as much rain as everybody else did that had insurance. And so there's things that people, you can do that you got to think about them differently for sure.
We got to educate them. We got to educate them on what we're doing. That's the hardest thing, because that change of going from the normal to what we're doing and understanding the transition, that you've just got to help educate them if they're willing to do that.
Right. Well, thank you. And thank you to the association for creating Regenerative Texas. And we as an organization love to, help promote and do whatever we can to support you guys, come alongside you. That's what we're here for. So not reinvent the wheel, but support what's already there. And I will get back with you, and we can, as you've got more to report about what's happening and things that are coming up, and then we'll get back, and maybe you guys, I'll let y'all talk a little bit more. So thanks, friends. Thanks for joining us again for another episode of Conservation Stories. I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that you will share this with your friends. And before we go, are you both still single?
Yeah, it's hard for me because
No, he's lying.
Okay, well, just saying, you might share this with all the single ladies. See, I told you guys I try to embarrass you. Thanks again, friends. Bye.